Is outside of Understanding West Ham Fan TV post-match reaction that replaces post-match pint on a weeknight. Well, it's a weekend night tonight, but we ain't got nowhere to go. So, I'm not going to ask for the starting lineup because I can't be bothered to listen to it again.
Sanchez.
No, but listen, this is getting fucking ridiculous now, to be quite honest with you. It's a piss poor performance again, a piss poor lineup again. We've got no fucking players out there that want to win the game. The manager don't want to win the fucking game. We've heard some rumours in a minute. We'll talk about them in a minute. What are we going to do? Honestly, what are we going to do?
Did you expect anything different coming here tonight? Let's be honest. Did you really think walking down at this stadium?
When I see Leicester's lineup, I thought fucking battle, and then you might have a chance.
But it goes to show how bad we are. The fact that they put a reserve off the park.
It's a
No, I mean, like, you think would they have 2 or 3 regular starters? You know,
they got a defender that hasn't played for a fucking season.
I mean, no disrespect to this, but it's not like Liverpool and Man City rotating their squad around and putting after, you know, really, really good players. Leicester absolutely played us off that part today with their reserve side. There was only 2 or 3 players that looked bothered. You know, it was abject, it was lethargic, there was nothing.
Welcome back, Graham.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, welcome back, Ray. I mean, honestly, mate, from start to finish. And do you know what the sad thing is that I walk out of this stadium today and I don't even care. Like, and that's the sad thing is that I spoke to a lot of fans off camera and they're the same. They just don't care no more. And listen, we've been through the bad days at West Ham. We've never been a great team. We've never been a massive club. We've always been that sort of mid-table. And we just need to realise now that we are in a relegation battle, and it's only us. I mean, Watford 3 weeks ago were dead, buried, cremated, and fucking whatever. Now they're 3 points behind us, and we've got a tough game. People were saying, "Oh yeah, but we've got Bournemouth at home next." But fucking, what does that matter? Bournemouth will probably come here and turn us over. And that's the sad thing. I mean, as you said, Leicester probably had not even their B team out today, their C team, and they turned us over. And that's the worrying thing. You got Iheanacho looking like a Messi. You know, but some of our fans turned our noses up at him when we was linked with him.
I thought Gray as well. He tore us to bits today. I thought
he was man of the match out there, wasn't he? Gray. He absolutely ripped us to pieces, and it just goes. We're just lacklustre. There's nothing about us at the minute.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. Today was obviously a night that was dedicated to Martin Peters, and there was no. You know, Martin Peters would have been looking down on that, and he would have been thinking, "What's going on?" You know, it was a disgrace. There's no fight out there. There's no passion. I mean, listen, God forbid you say a bad word against Declan Rice because you get fans slag you off, but he has been poor. Let's have it right. Snodgrass has been poor, but Snodgrass gets away with it because he gives his shirts to little kids outside. He has been poor. He's not a level West Ham player, Scott.
But the thing with Snodgrass, at least he fucking gives you some fight. No one else does that there. You say with Rice, I agree with you, Rice. Rice has been poor, but he's one of only 3 players I can say who walked on that pitch tonight who actually fucking tried.
It weren't hard, Scott. Us 4 could have been on there and we'd have been probably contenders for man of the match today.
We were saying, weren't we? You looked at the difference in the 2 sides. Whenever we had the ball, Leicester swarmed us. They did not let us set on the ball. They got the ball. They had the freedom of the pitch. They had acres.
We look like the team we were in the final days of Bilic. We look unfit, unmotivated, can't be arsed. You know, I'm looking at 2-1 down. I'm looking at players, right, as we're taking a goal kick, that are looking away, that are looking down at the floor because they're not fucking interested in getting this club out of... cheers, mate. Getting this club out of the...
I'm looking at 2-1 down, mate, and I've seen our manager that's on £8 million a year taking off our best striker, Haller. I'm looking at our manager. I'm looking at our manager take off Sebastian Haller and bring on Antonio when he should have been playing them both together. Now I don't get paid to do that. We all sat there and knew that. Does he want the sack? I mean, what is next for Pellegrini? Because in a way, I know this sounds weird, but I feel a bit sorry for him because he keeps getting told he's got 1 game left, he's got 3 games left. You either sack him or you say, look, you're our manager. You can't keep saying, oh, you got 1 game. Because what happens now, all right, he had 3 games. We've lost Palace, we've lost against Leicester. What if he beats Bournemouth now? Has he got another 3 games? What you got to do, you just got to either sack him and bring someone. But who's going to come to this club?
Well, let's be honest, mate. We're looking at internet forums tonight. There's some rumours flying about that he has been sacked and nothing's been confirmed yet. Hopefully we can get something before we get home. But if he has, who's coming?
That's it. Who are you going to attract? You know, that team out there today, the team out there that was put against Palace, it ain't going to attract anyone who, you know, they're saying, you look at David Moyes. David Moyes is the front runner to take our job. Someone who we come to last season, or 2 seasons ago, to keep us up, and then we turned around and said weren't good enough to move us forward. We brought someone in who's meant to be good enough to move us forward, who, granted, I backed.
The problem with our fan base, Scott, is that they turn their nose up at someone like David Moyes. I mean, people turned around and said, I ain't coming West Ham while Moyes is in charge of West Ham. You didn't even give him a chance before he even got in the door. The thing is, if you'd have took David Moyes at Everton, when he was at Everton, everyone would have been, I'd love David Moyes. You're looking at Man United. Anyone who took over from Ferguson was going to struggle. Like, David Moyes is not a bad manager, you know, but he got the best out of Marko Arnautovic. He got us playing good. All right, the results weren't great, but he kept us up. He come into who would have known that if he'd have chucked a bit of money at him, backed him a bit, who would have known? But we went for the big name because they thought that's what the fans want. The board sat there and thought, let's get a big name in, like Pellegrini, who was sitting out in China doing fuck all. And let's be honest, he's come here, he's had a season last season weren't that bad. This season he's just been found out and he ain't got a fucking clue, Scott. So the best thing to do is sack him. Sack him now. I don't care who they bring in. Bring in the interim manager. I said earlier to someone, you know, people were saying about, Paolo Di Canio. Yeah, I would love a Paolo Di Canio because if we're going to go down, let's go down with a bit of fight. You got Scott Parker in the Championship. I think he'll be a good shout. Shout at West Ham. You know, because when we were struggling under Avram Grant, Scott Parker was the only person I turned up week in, week out to watch because we had fight in that change room. We haven't got that no more. You've got Mark Noble. People were slagging off our captain Mark Noble because he was having a go at Ogbonna the other day. He's the only cunt out there who gives a shit about this club because these lot will fuck off in the summer. I don't care. Mark Noble will be here.
Them two are actually raring because they actually care. Ogbonna cares. Ogbonna cares for this club. Ogbonna likes playing for this club. He actually gives a shit. And the more players, him and Noble raring on the pitch, I like seeing because it shows passion between two players who fucking want to win, who want to pull this club up from the fucking bottom and get them further up the pitch. You didn't see none of that today, and that's the problem. The thing with when Moyes was there, I said, I agree with you. Moyes at Everton was a top quality manager. When he went to United, it was never going to work out. Sunderland was dog shit, but. When we got Pellegrini, it was meant to be the progression in the football, the progression in the club, moving upwards. We haven't done that. We've got a manager who wants to play football, who wants to play a style of play. His style, the way he's playing.
I want to look at this in a way where I want you to understand why we haven't. Yeah, we signed Fornals. Yeah, we've got Anderson. Yeah, we've got Haller. But underneath Haller, right, we sold Carroll.
Yep.
We sold Hernandez, yep. And we sold. Perez, yeah, and brought in a subpar striker, right? Now think of all the fucking money they've saved in wages there, right? Now, what is it? I think it ended up about £25 million net in the summer because Marko Arnautovic left. Another load of wages that we saved there, you know. Another forward that left in the summer. That's 4 forwards. And we bought in 2. Now you can't go through Premier League seasons, right, when you're telling everyone, yeah, and this is down to the owners, not just the manager, but the owners as well. When you're telling everyone, yeah, you know, we need to fucking go to the next level. We come in here to come to the next level. You're selling 4 strikers, didn't even fucking sell them for much money. Selling 4 strikers, right, and bringing in 2. And I know what you say, Ryan. I know you made a point earlier that it might be the manager that didn't want the fucking the players. But if there are owners that want to go forward, just turn around and say, have a look at another one. We've got the money for another one. We've got the wages for another one. Go and have a look at another one. And it is down to them why this cunt don't care, why half the players on the fucking pitch don't care, because they don't give a fuck.
That's it, but
and no matter what you say, all they care about is the money in their fucking pockets. They're trying to get out of this club, spending the minimum amount. The only reason, right, they spent any money a couple of years ago is because of what happened on that fucking pitch against Burnley. They was frightened that there'd be people waiting outside the fucking gate for them. And you know what? That is what this place and Upton Park have got a difference. At Upton Park, they had to walk through supporters. Now, they go down that little fucking tunnel there. They got a little gate there with a load of security with them. They ain't got to see a fucking soul.
I said to these earlier in the pub, if we were at Upton Park...
Oh, it's making me angry.
If we were at Upton Park and we were third, fourth and bottom, you'd take it a bit. Because we moved here to step up. You know, you sort of expect
Here in this next
Look,
level.
I understand the frustrations against the board, and listen, I hate the board as much as anyone. You know, I can't stand them, but Pellegrini's got to take the blame. You know, Pellegrini, you know, David Sullivan, well, God forbid he probably does, but he doesn't pick the team. You know, Pellegrini, for me, doesn't inspire me. He doesn't, when I look at him, he does not inspire me. I see a manager in charge of Everton for 3 weeks who showed more passion on that touchline in Duncan Ferguson than what Pellegrini has in 2 seasons. And
you're down there, I like that. Fighting, that's what you need from your manager. You need him to be on the sideline with you.
Look, I'm not saying that we should go and get Duncan Ferguson, but what I'm saying is that we need someone on the touchline. He doesn't care, Scott. He's a winner. If we get relegated, he gets a sack and goes into another job in China or Belarus or fucking Russia, wherever he goes, and he gets 20 million.
He don't want another job. He doesn't want another job.
Even though he still gets paid out a lot of money. He gets paid out a lot of money. And this is the problem with us at the moment. And as I said, we can sit here and we can... Look, the owners are as much to blame as anything. But at the moment, let's talk about them in January when they don't back the manager. But what they should do now, if they've got any love for this football club, if they've got any ounce of love for us fans, they need to sack Pellegrini tonight or tomorrow, whenever, and they need to get someone in. You know, we've got Bournemouth here on New Year's Day, which is going to be a tough game. It's not an easy game. You know, and they'll probably turn us over. And before you know it, we're in the bottom 3. But the good thing is, if you bring someone in now, we're only 2 wins or a few points away from moving up. So we're not down and out. That's
the saving grace, the fact that the league is so tight at the minute that 2 wins will push us up. But going back to the striker thing, if you look at the strikers we sold, in Hernandez, Perez and Avic, how many goals they had between them?
Avic was better than anyone we've got here.
But if you look at Perez, for example, he got more goals coming off the bench than our top striker, a £42 million striker.
We made, Scott. We let 2 strikers go. Well, take that, not Marco. We let Perez and Hernandez go. One should have gone, the other should have stayed. But they let them both go. Look at them now; they're both scoring goals. And this is the thing, like. You get a run in the team here. If you don't score after 2 games, the fans turn their backs on the players. Oh, shit, get him out of the team. Give him a run of games. That's what happens. Andy Carroll.
At the end of the day, mate, the fans don't pick the team. The manager picks the team. He's the one ousting these people.
No, I know we don't pick the team, but what I'm saying is when these players do get picked and they don't score, the fans get on their back.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying.
After 1 or 2 games, you've got to give them a good run of games, get a bit of confidence.
For me, Haller's been a massive scapegoat this season. Massive. You see.
Been injured. We're lucky he hasn't been injured.
He's pressing the ball. He's pressing the goalkeeper. He's calling players, as Noble's done in the past, calling players to get up with him, and we're 10 yards off the ball.
They need someone up there. They should have had Antonio up there alongside him. It worked at Southampton.
It's not fucking rocket science, is it? I don't get paid £8 million a year, but the owners need to fucking do something and do something now. They are failing miserably. The club is failing miserably. Like the way the club's run. At the end of the day, the buck does stop with the manager when it comes to the team, but when it comes to the football club, the buck stops with the owners.
Yeah, I mean, they can only back him as far as they can. I mean, I don't know what goes on in these meetings. I don't know if Pellegrini said, this is who
Sandwiches.
I want. But I don't know if the owners have said, no, this is the only players that you've got, so you've got to work with. So I don't know that, but at the end of the day, Pellegrini is an experienced enough coach to coach these players, but he hasn't got a plan B, and that's the problem. When you look at it, he sets out his team, we go 1-0 down, he looks like he ain't got a clue. He takes off, as I said, Haller, and brings on Antonio when he should have brought them on and played together. It was 2-1 at the time. And
it was 1-1.
No, it was 2-1, wasn't it?
No, it was 1-0.
Or was it 1-0?
After about 5
yeah,
minutes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
9 minutes, because you kept on saying. That's what he said to me about 20 times.
Sorry, yeah.
9 minutes.
9 minutes into the second half, and he takes him off. Why not take him off at half time? Why embarrass the boy by giving him 9 minutes and then taking him off?
This is the body. It's not only that as well. Sorry, Scott. The body language isn't good from the players. You know what I mean? As I say, you take the goal kick at 1-0. You need to win the game really, and you're looking at the floor. You got Fredericks walking out, looking at the floor. Rice is struggling at the minute. Let's be honest, he's struggling, but he's a 20-year-old boy. You know, you can sort of give him a little bit of leeway, and you're asking him to fucking, play alongside Carlos Sanchez, who, let's be fair, couldn't even get into a championship team. He'd be lucky to get into a championship team.
This is the thing I was saying. Sanchez, he ain't a great player, but he's had no game time, and you're throwing him into a game when you're dog shit in a minute.
Neither's Wes Morgan, but he bossed the back line today.
I mean, I look at that Leicester team today. And I'm thinking to myself, do you know what? Chuck your best 11 out against them. Fuck it, they're tight. Listen, people work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. These cunts had to play 2 games in 48 hours and they're tired. We had a week off last week. We didn't play against Liverpool. I was watching the Crystal Palace game. And I was thinking to myself, fucking hell, they're tired. And I forgot to myself, fuck me, we ain't even played. And we looked so leggy against Palace. And look, I know it's tough being a Premiership football player. I mean, it must be hard looking at your wages every month, thinking, "Oh, fuck me, I've got to live on this."
What am I got to do with that?
It's tough. Yeah. I know it's tough. You get up, you train from 10 till 2, and it must be tough. You know, I'd hate their life. But they've got to realise, this is our life. This West Ham is our life, and it's tough because, as I said, apart from take Mark Noble, and I include Declan Rice in this, all these players will fuck off away from this club and not give a shit about West Ham. They can sit there and go all like that in the photos and all that. It don't mean fuck all to them. It doesn't mean nothing to them. But this would be us, and we'll be in a Championship. We'll be in League One. We're coming over here with 10,000 people over here. We'll still be here, and that's the thing with these owners. They know that we'll always be here, and that's the sad thing. And that's where they take advantage of us.
Of course it is, and that's the modern day football, isn't it? They just take the piss out of the fans. They push the fans out, and that's what it's all about. Like you said, at the end of the day, how many players? If we get relegated, how many of them players out there today are still going to be here if we go down? 4, I'd say. Four players. That's it.
And you know what as well? I remember that I was only talking about this the other day. I remember the day when Golden Sullivan walked into this club. I ain't even got to do research. I remember the first home game. We played Blackburn at home. It was 0-0. You remember it. You weren't there. You was too drunk. But I remember it clearly. I remember everyone's buzz about, we've got 2 English owners who support West Ham, and it's just gone downhill. Even the relegation in 2012, 11-12, it didn't fucking really bother anyone because we thought, right, we'll rebuild again, and we did. We went and got Big Sam. We brought in Kevin Nolan, who was the best signing this probably club has made in a decade. Agreed. For what he'd done with the club. And then people started turning their backs on him because this is the thing, we get to this level and people think, we're better. We're not. We need to just realise, let's build and build. The mistake we made, Scott, when we had Slaven Bilic, that Bolin season, we never built on that season. We never backed Bilic. Yeah, we never backed him.
Because we never built on the 86 season. We never built on the 2001 season.
Back then, it's different. It's different because you got Dimitri Payet, who was probably the best player in Europe at the time, in a West Ham shirt. He must have come back from the Euros, looked at that change room and thought, Gökhan Tor, Norvite, what the fuck's gone on here? Where's the Zlatan Ibrahimovic we've been linked with? Where's all these players we've been linked with?
He picked his head in the room.
No, but that's what happened, mate. We never back, and people can say about
this is where it went wrong. That move from the bowling to here, the way off the back of that season, if you had gone forward in the signings, if you had spent the money we had spent over the past 2 seasons in that summer coming here, things would have been completely different. But we didn't.
We was 2 wins away from Champions League football in that season, right? Coming to this big stadium, you would have attracted a lot of top players, because they had built on that. They thought, fuck me, we've got Dimitri. You don't even have to sell you got Dimitri Payet in the team. But look what happened. He fucked off. This club has just gone down and down and down. And the sad thing is, mate, is that if we don't pick up a few results, and because we're on we're still on 19 points. You got to get to 40 to at least have a chance of staying up. I can't even see us fucking getting to 30.
When you look at that table now, where are we going to pick up 21 points between now and the end of the season? 19 games left. You struggle to see 21 points coming. Let's be honest.
Let's start wrapping this up, boys, because I'm getting cold. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's post-match reaction. We'll be back for the Bournemouth game, of course, for post-match pint. All the fan cams, go and check out all of them. There's some good ones tonight, plenty of them to go up. One thing left to say, boys, I suppose. Fuck off, you irons.
Come on,
you irons.
Pellegrini.